In the last video I spoke about invasive species and I addressed the myths, certainly on my small patch here. Invasiveness is localized and species specific. In this Paulownia update I'll touch on why I very much doubt Paulownia will be invasive here in Ireland, but first the context. Sitka spruce is the predominant forestry tree here in Ireland. Plantations date back to the 1850s, though Ireland, and especially the west of Ireland, were slow to appreciate the benefits to the local and national economy. I'd say this particular Sitka spruce forest is perhaps 20-25 years old. Though looking around here in West Clare, I'd say most of the plantations are around 40 years old, and that's borne out by research which states that significant planting took place around the 1980s. 40 plus years later and these forests are being harvested. What will the Irish forester replace them with? One forester, landowner, who'd harvested their Sitka spruce dropped by to have a chat about Paulownia. Paulownia are very popular in Eastern and Southern Europe, where they grow rapidly, yielding valuable harvestable timber in less than 10 years. Very appealing to the progressive young foresters of the 1980s who took the plunge with Sitka spruce and now want to see their next plantation grow to maturity. This is the 1st of October. Paulownia are deciduous, though interestingly there still seems to be some new growth. And what's fabulous in terms of biodiversity is the shield bugs. A couple of them sunning themselves here. And also when I turned over this leaf, looks like a ladybird, a small ladybird developing. Fabulous. The Department of Agriculture, Food and the Marine here in Ireland asked the forester for a certificate of sterilization for the Paulownia he intended to plant. Very curious. I've linked to a report in the description of research carried out by the Society of Irish Foresters at Hillsborough in Northern Ireland. I couldn't find any research carried out by the Republic. I actually suspect that this is one of the oldest and largest Paulownia plantations in Southern Ireland. Remarkable. I really do hope that the Republic of Ireland takes full advantage of all forestry opportunities, though there's still hostility to trees and forestry, especially where I live here in West Clare. Another shield bug, fabulous. And look at this beautiful spider. Anyways, I searched the document for the word invasive. Not found. Before I planted any Paulownia here, I did a couple of years of research just to make sure that everything I was doing was going to have a positive outcome. And despite a few references here and there to Paulownia being invasive, I couldn't find any actual evidence that they would be. Certainly not in a cooler, temperate climate like Ireland's. They will put out suckers, though none of mine have done. These are basal shoots. Paulownia need full light in order to thrive and survive. And as I said in the last video, the caterpillars and slugs eat them, not to mention all the herbivores. The leaves of Paulownia are highly palatable, full of protein and generally very nutritious. These Paulownia certainly aren't hampering biodiversity, native species of insects. There's another couple of shield bugs and a fly sunbathing on the leaves here. Herbivores such as rabbits, hares, deer and cattle will devour any suckers coming off Paulownia if they do get out into the wild. Because of their high protein and nutrient content, Paulownia are actively grown as fodder for livestock. So there's an incentive for the dubious, sceptical West Clare farmers to start experimenting with Paulownia, an alternative to grass. Note, a certificate of sterilization only certifies that the seeds won't germinate. I've been sowing and propagating Paulownia seeds for 3 seasons now, and in order to get them to germinate they need high temperatures day and night and also high humidity. Propagation conditions that don't occur naturally here in Ireland, even though this is a glorious 1st of October day. It's around about 17 degrees currently during the day. Even during the summer here, getting 2 weeks of high temperatures day and night above 18 degrees C, unlikely. So I'm at a bit of a loss as to why a certificate of sterilization is required. I'm in favour of growing Paulownia from seed-grown plants rather than clones. Biodiversity. If your clone is susceptible to a particular pest or disease, and that pest or disease prolificates and attacks, then that could decimate your forest. Also, so far as I'm aware, there are no clones that have been developed, bred specifically for the cooler, temperate climate here in Ireland, though a fellow enthusiast claims his clones from Eastern Europe have grown 3 metres in 1 season down in Kerry. If you're interested, get in touch and I'll put you in touch with them. I'm definitely not against planting clones, though I am very much in favour of planting seed-grown, biodiverse trees. Perhaps plant a mixture of clones and seed-grown trees. Paulownia are relatively easy to clone, so if they prove suitable, then perhaps you can clone your best ones and expand your plantation with clones which are genetically more suitable to your specific locale. Here conditions are definitely far from ideal. Paulownia require full sun in order to survive, and as you can see at the back there, there's a hedgerow to the east which shades these for half the day, and also this is a north facing slope, and it's evident that those further up the slope are much bigger, much more developed than those further down the slope which are more shaded, as well as being exposed to the cold winter northerlies, not ideal for the tender new growth of Paulownia, which starts early on in the season. I'm still very enthusiastic about the contribution Paulownia could make to Irish forestry, though research needs to be done and supported. My target market has always been the small experimental forester, as I am myself. So if you have any spare land that you could use for experimenting with forestry, then seed-grown Paulownia are definitely worth a go. When would I plant Paulownia? These were planted last October. These half dozen here, and I don't see much difference in growth between them and these that were planted this July. Though I suspect that those that I planted last October will have developed a stronger, larger root system, so therefore will be primed to grow more rapidly next year. Whenever you plant, vegetation control is vitally important, especially during the first year. I've probably been a bit lax on it with these new plantings, it definitely makes a significant difference. If you're planting Paulownia for commercial timber production, then a minimum spacing of 3 meters apart is recommended. Currently, I'm growing for the aesthetics, the look of the large leaves during the summer, and hopefully, maybe not next year, but certainly the year after that, I'm expecting an amazing display of purple flowers, which the bees love. If you're a honey producer, then I definitely recommend you experiment with Paulownia. I'd also hope to supplement my sustainable firewood needs with pruning and windfall. Buy seed-grown Paulownia trees from me and help fund my research and reporting. Thanks a mil for watching. Good luck.